So let's talk first about schedules, because this is really kind of the key thing to getting this whole feature to work. So schedules, now when you log in and you see CAP, there's now going to be a new tab. And the new tab is just called the Schedules tab. That's really where you're going to go create these. A schedule could be basically as simple as a single event. Or a schedule could contain multiple events. You're going to think about after hours, right? And, business hours 8 to 5 every day. But after hours, a day is broken up into the morning hours from the previous midnight until 8 a.m. and then from 5 o'clock until midnight that day. But then after hours also includes the weekends. So there's really multiple events that go into building that. In fact, we'll actually build a business hours and an after hours schedule when we go through this. The schedules can be repeating, so they can repeat weekly, yearly, monthly. When you're building the schedules, you also have a day, week, month, yearly views. And what happens with the schedules too, you're also going to designate them either as a regular schedule or a holiday schedule. And a holiday schedule comes into play, you'll see when we talk about auto attendance. That's kind of where they become key. So when you log into CAP, you're going to see right next to that Support tab, there's going to be a New Schedules tab. So if you click that, you'll get a new widget. And this particular widget then has a couple of tabs on it. There is the Global Schedules tab, and next to it is the Local Schedule tab. And that's really for a way of just sort of categorizing the schedules. They actually both get created at the enterprise level. So they're both effectively similar, but this is a way of, if you've got a set of schedules that you want everybody to be able to use, you might put them as global. If you got a set of location-specific tabs, you might put those in the location schedules. And this whole thing gets started off by just clicking it down at the very bottom where it says New Schedule. When you do that, you'll get a calendar view that pops up. Now, in this particular calendar view, you're going to fill these things out. The first part is a schedule name, so you're going to give this schedule a name. And this could be something fairly descriptive. It doesn't have to be some one-word thing. Make sure you name it something that makes sense. The next thing is a schedule type, and this is where you're going to choose regular or holiday. And then to create an event, what you wind up doing is there's a green button here that says Add Event, right next to the date there. So you just click Add Event. When you do that, it's going to pop up a dialog. And in this dialog, there's a couple of sections here. So you can have a description section. Because you can have multiple events in one schedule, you're going to wind up naming those events. And these, again, could be fairly descriptive names. As we'll see, we'll go through and show you in some of the examples. In the middle section, then, you've got a set of repeating options. And you'll see on the left, there's a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly options in terms of how you want those to repeat. In the middle, this is because weekly is shown that you can pick the days of the week that you want the schedule to repeat. And then you also can specify an end date. You see the blue enabled button. To the right of that is a disable button. If you just want to create a single event, not a repeating, you just click disabled. The repeating options will collapse, and then you'll just have the bottom section, which has your start time and your end date and your end time and date. If you're going to create weekly schedules, for instance, then you still need to set the start time, and the end time and the start date are really what's going to matter. Now, here's an example of a business hours workday. So I've created an event, just called it Workday. On the left, I've clicked Weekly. In the middle section, you'll see I've selected all the weekdays. And then from a time schedule, I've chosen 8 o'clock in the morning. And I've moved, and basically that goes to 1700, which is 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And the actual day there, June 29th, that is actually the start date. So if I actually wanted to create this particular event, but I didn't want this to start until, say, 2 weeks from now, then I would change the date to be something 2 weeks from now. And then at that point, that schedule will kick in. Once you've done that, you can scroll down. You save that event. You can scroll down, and you'll see this event. Scroll down to where it says, 8 o'clock. You'll see across all 5 days in the middle of the week that there's now time blocked out for this particular schedule. It'll have the time at the top of it, and it'll have the event name within that schedule. You can click Save in that, or you can go back. You can scroll up to the top. You can click, here's a monthly view of that same schedule, so you see each day during the month that the schedule is active. You also have the arrows up to the right. So if you're on a day view, month view, it doesn't matter which view, you're going to have those arrows. So it'll let you cycle through either days or months or years. And this is the yearly view. So once you click year, you'll see all these different days here now have an active schedule on it. If you hover over a specific day, you'll get a little fly out thing, a little pop-out thing, and that will have that name of that event on it and the start time on it. So you can see what schedules are present on any particular day. Now, once you've saved that event, you'll see it in your Schedules tab now. So you'll see it here, for instance, there's business hours, the type is regular, and you'll notice now that there's actually an edit and a delete link. So if you want to go back and edit that schedule, you just click Edit, delete it, delete it. So let's create an after-hours schedule. So this is a little more complex, takes a little bit more work because this is going to be a multi-event schedule. So first off, we can just click New Schedule again. Up in the schedule name, you'll wind up putting in after hours. The type of schedule again, this is a regular schedule, and then you just click Add Event to add our first event. Once you've done that, so here's morning hours. Because remember we talked about this being broken up during the day. So we call this one morning hours. We're going to set this as weekly. We're going to cover all of the weekdays. And from a time perspective, this is going to go from 00 all the way to 8 o'clock in the morning. So this is going to cover the period from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. You wind up saving that event, create another event. We're going to call this one evening hours. And see, again, this is weekly, and we're going to cover all of the 5 different days. And you see, this one is going to go from 1700 all the way until midnight of this day. So that takes care of the weekdays and defining the after hours. We've done that with 2 events. And then the third event we wind up adding is the weekends. So in this case, we're going to say weekends. This will be weekly as repeating as well. And then Saturday and Sunday are checked. And instead of specifying a specific time for this, check the full day flag to say this is all day Saturday and all day Sunday. So now once you've saved that, all these events will show on this calendar. In the middle section, you can see the one that goes from 12 a.m. and it goes all the way down to 8 a.m. If you scroll down, you'll see the one that begins at 1700 and goes all the way to midnight. And then again on the weekends, you'll see now this schedule will show on the weekends. You can also see that in the yearly view and stuff too as well, and then in the monthly view. So once you save that, then you've got business hours, you've got after hours. So the next thing to do is generally create a holiday schedule. So the best way to create a holiday schedule is you're going to come in here, give it a name, the schedule type, make sure to choose that as holiday. Otherwise, when we get to the auto attendance, then it won't show up in your list of holiday schedules. So make sure to tag it as holiday, then click Add Event. Once you save that, then you've got business hours, you've got after hours. So the next thing to do is generally create a holiday schedule. So the best way to create a holiday schedule is you're going to come in here, give it a name, the schedule type, make sure to choose that as holiday. Otherwise, when we get to the auto attendance, then it won't show up in your list of holiday schedules. So make sure to tag it as holiday, then click Add Event. Now, I didn't show it here, but the best way to do holiday schedules is to flip to the yearly view, and then if you double-click on a day, then it'll come up, and it'll actually be full day as we checked automatically. So that's kind of a convenient way to do full-day events like that. So in this one, I'm creating an event for New Year's Day. So I'm just calling it, obviously, New Year's Day. But now notice I've checked the yearly repeating options. And when you do that, you'll see the set of options for repeating actually changes. There's actually, you can choose one or the other. The top one says every first day of January, which is probably the most logical one. We're going to pick that one, because the other one would say on the first Monday of January. So that would be, ideal for something like a Labor Day, where it typically winds up being the first Monday of September, right? So in this case, we'll create that event, save that. Here's Memorial Day. So again, did the same thing, typed in Memorial Day, yearly, repeating. And if you notice on this one, it said, okay, every fourth Monday of May. So that allows you to have a little bit of flexibility in creating these repeating events that occur on a yearly schedule. Now, once you flip to the yearly view, you'll notice, like on the 1st of January, there's a yellow highlight, so we know that there's a schedule on that day. On the 25th, here's the one that we just created for Memorial Day. And you can keep adding events to the schedule, and they'll all show up as yellow on here. But if you hover over that, then you'll see, as this expansion, it'll have the day highlighted. It'll pop out to the right. It'll show you the event that you have there. And you've got this little calendar icon. If you click that, that will let you edit that schedule. So there's various ways that you can get in to edit the existing schedules. Now, once you've saved that schedule, you notice that in our schedules widget now have 3 schedules. There's a holidays widget, or holiday schedule, and you notice that it says the type there is holiday. And then we have our after hours and our business hours. You can create a whole lot of different schedules. I don't really know that there's actually much of a limit. Probably is somewhere, but it's one of those ones where if somebody reaches it, let me know, because you probably have too many. And then, of course, you can edit and delete any of the existing schedules that are there. Now, actually, within the calendar view, there's a couple of alternative methods. Of course, you've got the Add Event button. I find that quick and convenient to do. But you can also click on a time and then just start dragging down until the end time. And then once you release the mouse button, then you'll get that event dialog will pop up. And that start and end time and day will have been filled in based on where you dragged and clicked. You can also double-click on a time, and then it'll pop that event dialog up, and it will give you the start time and day based on where you double-clicked. So there's a couple of other methods for using the calendars to initiate the start of event creation.